When winter weather strikes, count on ABC 57 First Warning Neighborhood Weather to keep you safe. Today, we take a deep dive, going beyond the headlines. From squalls to flurries, we'll show you the science of our weather and how we track it before it hits your neighborhood. Welcome to Project Blizzard, powered by ABC 57 News.
Lake effect snow is a weather phenomenon that is unique to the Great Lakes region. It forms when you have the cold air passing over the warm water. That warm air begins to rise, and as it does, some of the water evaporates. The water vapor then cools, and as it moves further away from the lake, it begins to drop a lot of snow further inland. Now here in the Michiana area, we typically see lake effect snow bands when we have winds out of the north, northwest, as well as west. Since the lake effect snow can vary in intensity and placement, snow totals have a wide range from city to city.
During the winter months, there are multiple types of precipitation that can fall from the sky, ranging from snow to sleet to freezing rain and even plain rain. If it's cold enough, everything falls as snow, but occasionally you can get a slice of warmer air that's above freezing, and that causes different types of precipitation. If it's 32 and below all throughout the atmosphere, it falls as snow. If you get a thin layer of warm air, the raindrops fall into that, melt, and then refreeze into sleet. However, if there's a bigger column of warm air, the rain will fall into that, melt, and barely have enough time to freeze once it hits the ground. That's freezing rain. That's a dangerous type of precipitation. And if it's above freezing the whole way from the cloud to the ground, the precipitation will fall as plain rain. When meteorologists look at a weather map, we often see multiple different things. We have a blue H, which is high pressure, and that just means nice weather. Usually it means sunshine and cool-ish temperatures, not necessarily hot or cold. A red L is low pressure, and usually there is a cold front and a warm front with that, and that usually brings precipitation. During the winter, here in Michiana, we can get snow or rain, or a combination of the two, or sometimes, if things come together just right with our fronts, we can even get freezing rain or ice.
You may have heard all snowflakes are different, and that's true, but they all start the same, and they're more than just frozen water. In the cloud, snowflakes start as a tiny water droplet, supercooled below freezing. But it needs something to freeze to, like a speck of dust or a piece of pollen. Then it will freeze instantly, forming an ice crystal. Ice crystals are the foundation of the snowflake. They're what other tiny water droplets or water vapor instantly freeze to, and the snowflake grows. Now, every ice crystal is unique, so every snowflake is unique. But thanks to the shape of the crystal, all snowflakes have 6 sides. There are 5 basic types of snowflakes. Dendrites, the most basic snowflake you're probably most familiar with, and then there are also plates, needles, prisms, and columns. They all have 6 sides, including needles, prisms, and columns. They're just more three-dimensional. Depending on what temperature it is, different snowflakes will fall. The next time it's snowing, head outside with a dark glove or mitten and try and catch those snowflakes and see what shape they are.
The weather alert you'll see most often during the winter season is a winter weather advisory. This advisory is issued when light snow, light freezing rain, or blowing and drifting snow is expected in your forecast. Now, while an advisory typically means hazardous weather conditions are possible, and that of course you do need to proceed with caution, a warning means that hazardous weather conditions are imminent and that you need to take action and stay safe indoors most often. There are a few different types of warnings that you'll see during the winter season. One being a winter storm, which means that typically you have 6 or more inches of snow falling within 12 hours. And there's typically blowing and drifting snow that go along with it. The warning shows up in pink. An ice storm, though, is rare for our area, but it can be the most damaging. More than a 1/4 inch of ice can bring down power lines and tree limbs, and it turns roads into ice rinks. This warning shows up as purple. Now, blizzard warnings are orange in colored when it's issued, and this warning, you don't actually have to have a whole lot of snow falling. It's the high winds causing the blowing snow in whiteout conditions over a period of time, and this is when we have a blizzard. If you see any of these warnings, the chances of you having a snow day are pretty high.
The blizzard of 1978 was one of the most powerful winter storms to ever hit the United States. The storm began on the night of January 25th, rapidly growing and dropped heavy snow over Illinois, Indiana, and Michigan. You see some of the pictures right here. The snowfall rates were 1 to even 2 inches per hour across Michiana, and the wind gusted anywhere from 35 to 45 miles per hour. Visibility dropped to near zero as well, basically creating whiteout conditions for several hours. And the heavy snow and wind lasted for nearly 2 days, ending late in the day on January 27th. And after all, as much as 30 inches of snowfall fell across Michiana, the heaviest amounts just to the north of Benton Harbor in the northern tip of Berrien County. The Great Blizzard of 1978 was also part of one of the coldest and snowiest winters in South Bend. The average temperature that winter season was only 19.9 degrees, with a snowfall total of 136.3 inches by spring. Unfortunately, in the end, a total of 51 people lost their lives as a result of this historic storm.
During the winter months, temperatures combined with wind can create what we call a wind chill, or what it actually feels like to your skin. To get the wind chill, there's a handy chart here, courtesy of the National Weather Service, and what you do is you find the temperature, and then you go down the column and find the wind speed. So if we have a temperature of 5 degrees and a wind speed of 10 miles an hour, they meet right here, and it feels like -10. This chart can be found online and is very handy through the winter.
When those cold winter months arrive, it's really important that you make sure you're properly dressed for the cold weather. As temperatures start to drop into the 40s and 50s, you'll need at least 1 to 2 layers on, a light jacket, some long pants, and some warm shoes. And as those temperatures continue to drop near 32 degrees, which is freezing, you'll need to add on more layers. Make sure you have a winter coat on, some warm, thick gloves, a hat, long pants, and even an extra layer on top of that, as well as your warm boots. And as soon as those temperatures start to drop into those dangerous levels near zero, and if you have that negative wind chill value, that's when it drops down to dangerous levels. You'll need a thicker hat on, waterproof gloves, a scarf, a nice thick coat with a couple of layers underneath it, the snow pants, as well as your warm boots with even a couple layers of socks. And as those temperatures continue to drop to the dangerous levels, frostbite and hypothermia are both possible. For frostbite, you'll start to notice that your fingers, your toes, as well as your ears and nose start to go numb or begin to hurt. When you start to notice this happening, it's important you go inside to warm up or put more layers on. If you're not dressed properly, hypothermia can become a risk. It's when your body temperature drops to dangerously cold levels, and it can be life-threatening.
How much did it snow? That's the question everyone wants to know, and you can help answer that question by knowing how to measure snow properly. All you need is a ruler or a tape measure and an open location that's designated that you'll measure the snow from every time. Here at ABC 57 News, we have our snow stick where we watch snow accumulate and then we measure. On this special scientific ruler, we measure the closest 1/10 of an inch. On a standard measuring tape or ruler, try to measure to the closest 1/2 or 1/4 inch. Write down your measurement and even snap a photo and share it with ABC 57 News. We use these reports in our forecast and share it with others to help them plan around the weather. Finally, make sure you clean off your snow spot so it's ready to measure another fresh snowfall.
We'll keep you prepared this winter. Project Blizzard is a special presentation of the ABC 57 First Warning Neighborhood Weather Team.